Hello folks, in this screencast I'd like to go over the carousel example from our text. First, when we see it in action, when you hit the left button on load, everything is disabled, and then we can go and click our right button right here, and you see the animation move from right to left. And there's 9 books, and when we get to the end of the book, we can click the left button and it goes back to the first, second, and third. So 1, 2, 3 slides, then it goes back to the first and the second one. If we go back to the left, right, right, hit right again, it goes back. If we go right, right, and then left again, we can edge our way back. So basically, you can think of it in terms of an array of 3. However, that's not how this functions. If we go to our carousel.js, well, first of all, let's look at the HTML. And in this case, we have groupings. We have an image list that is the entire carousel. And inside here, we have 1, 2, several images, right? So as we go through and we look for our functionality, you will see right button click. So this is the unordered list right here, and then we've declared our variables, left property and new left property. And we apply a click event listener with our function, which we already know, and we have a left property here that equals the integer of image list CSS left. So this will be the position that's left. Now, because this is a fixed property, we can tell that, let's say if it's minus 300, if it's less than or equal to minus 900, it's 0. So basically we're controlling the left property of an absolutely positioned element. So basically, regardless of left, we can say, okay, whatever this new left property is, minus 300, as long as it's less than or equal to minus 900, we will reset it. Otherwise, the new left property on each click of the right button is going to be the left property minus 300. So let's console.log the left property and see what it reads when we actually control our slider. And just for future reference, we'll be using the animate jQuery function on this. So here's our section, and this is the HTML5 CSS, which is from this shiv right here. So that I'm not too concerned about because we're not even using. This is interesting. That this is one of the problems with using a content delivery network. But the shiv is not really necessary because I'm working in Chrome today. I'm working in a modern browser. You may recall the shiv from our reading is about making older versions, specifically of Internet Explorer, functional with our code. Anyway, we're here to trace the functions here. So I'm going to click console, and there we go. We see 0, minus 300, minus 600. 0, minus 300, minus 600. So basically, when we start at 0, if 0 minus 300 is less than or equal to minus 900, that's when we reset. So that will only happen in the third click. And then what we can do is animate with our new left property and do it over 1,000. So you can toggle the time duration to your liking. And when we hit the left function, we can do the same thing. And we can log and say something like left button clicked plus left property. So we can differentiate what we've done. And likewise, if it's less than or equal to 0, because it's going to move to the positive if we click the left button, then we can control it that way. Now there are many, many ways to do this. Realistically, there are dozens of carousel plugins, and we'll be using those in the coming weeks. But see, now we're minus 600. We'll go to minus 600 here, right here. And then we'll go one more. Oops. Problems with my trackpad here. So when I click back, now we can go positive. Left button click, it goes to minus 300. Click again, 0. And then it disables. So the last block of code is if new left property is equal to left property was 300, which is the opposite, then reset it to 0 and have it to the left. So basically we're just animating by changing the property of the left carousel, and that's it. And if you want to control what's seen, the animation is going to that would be controlled by our CSS, which is in our main CSS, which we can take a look at now. So when you look at this, it's a lot more simple than one might think. We are looking at the ordered lists, and because its position is relative and its width is only 900 pixels, we are controlling blocks of 3. And because the unordered list is only that wide, it controls only that amount, and the rest is overflow. So you can see right here, display panel overflow hidden, and the width is 300. And lastly, when we go back and look at our div for display panel, you should see it right here. So it's a relatively simple application, but one that's pretty strong. Anyway, so that's our carousel application from the book, and like the FAQs application, we'll see it grow over time.